So before this begins, let me say I forgot to mention Joffrey Laverne in the last video. He was really good in Summer League for us, and I've said I have a JaVale McGee vision for him, kind of like a shot blocker off the bench. He was good. He had 2 blocks. He also grabbed 11 rebounds for us in 24 minutes. Pierre Jackson was balling out as well, nearly got a triple-double. So, with the season about to begin, let's just say the obvious. We have a lot of players, especially at our wing positions. And so as a result, I think the first 10 or 15 games of the year are going to be experimental. We're going to try different lineups, going to see who's going to work and who's not. And then we're going to start to look at, okay, who needs to go, who should be staying, and all those types of things. We will be starting off with Will Barton at shooting guard, and I think Justin Anderson will start at small forward, and then Gallinari he'll still be the 6th man, because we still really don't have a natural scorer off the bench. And Kenneth Faried will be starting at the 4. Yeah, I know there's a very good chance he's not going to be here past this season, but he's still going to be at the 4 to start the year. Now let's talk about some improvements that went on throughout the offseason for us. Emmanuel Moutier's shooting is actually pretty legit now. He's in the high 70s at his mid-range and his 3-point shot. So you're going to see this season, he's going to be taking more outside shots for us. I started shooting him towards the end of the previous year, but I'm more confident in his shot now. Yusuf Nurkic, I sent him to some conditioning camps. His stamina is still not over 70, but he's getting better. He's improving. Kenneth Faried, he went to some outside shooting camps, and it's like a 68 right now in his mid-range, so that's a work in progress. Of course, Nigel Hayes, the second he walks into the game, he'll be able to provide some shooting at the power forward spot for us, but Kenneth Faried, still haven't given up on him, still going to give him some time. But now let's talk about the Western Conference and see if we actually have a chance to make it in this postseason. Well, at the top of the conference, I think you got to start with Golden State, who can look unbeatable at times. And next would probably be OKC. And I think these two teams are probably going to be battling it out all season for the top 2 spots. And it's going to be a battle. It's going to be back and forth. I mean, you got Steven Adams' crazy hair. You got the fact that Draymond is way too fat in 2K, even though he's pretty decently in shape in real life. Next, I would say, is the San Antonio Spurs, now led by Kawhi Leonard with the departure of Tim Duncan, which also means that the floor is going to open up much more for LaMarcus Aldridge. I would say these guys are probably the 3rd best team in the conference. However, the Los Angeles Clippers, I'd say a solid number 4, and definitely not a team to be ignored. Of course, they now have Brook Lopez after they traded away DeAndre Jordan for him. And he's definitely more of an offensive center. But the question with him is, how effective can he be defensively, rebounding-wise? I mean, if he's good there, the Clippers may be the best team in the conference when you talk about an offensive center. But I think you still have to give the edge to the Spurs, because with the Clippers, how good are the complementary players, okay? It's always been the issue. For the 5 and 6 spots, I think Houston and Memphis. James Harden might have questions for his effort in real life, but in 2K, the dude is still going to be great. They still have Wilson Chandler, by the way, who is helping them out coming off the bench. Rockets are good. They're a good team. Play with a lot of energy. Question with Memphis is the shooting, as always, because the big 3, or at least the big 2, now that Zebo is a little older, is still great, but I might have to give a slight edge to the Houston Rockets for the number 5 spot. The bottom of the conference, I like Minnesota and New Orleans, okay? The battle of the prospects. Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, or Anthony Davis in his group. Who's going to take that last spot in the Western Conference? The last 2 spots, really. I think that'll be fun. I mean, of course, this matchup will be much more exciting down the road, but for right now, I'd say the 7 and 8 seeds are realistic for those 2 teams. So you notice how I don't put us in my prediction to make the playoffs. Look, I think we're going to be exciting. I think we're going to be a good team. I do think we have a chance to finish around 500, but I mentioned earlier, the beginning of the season is going to be experimental. and that can lead to some losses, let's be honest. But besides that, we're still a young team, and we're just not as good as the teams in the top of the conference. But we'll be a tough out. So maybe we could contend for the playoffs. Maybe we could slip into the 8th seed, but I think we can definitely be a team around 40 wins, and I think next season we can really go for the postseason. Anyway, the year is about to start. It's going to be good. We'll see.